Cold and cloudy, Landover, Maryland, just up the road from Washington, D.C. Temperature in the 30s. We go down to the field. Laura Oatman.
Hi, Chris. Adrian Peterson has always been a quiet leader who leads by example. But Thursday, in a rare move, he addressed the team. He told me I wasn't liking the vibe in the locker room, and some things I was hearing rubbed me the wrong way, so I had to say something. He told the team, we've had devastating injuries and tough losses, but our season is not over. I'm planning on going 4-0 and going to the playoffs. I'm going out there and giving it my all. Are you? Chris, we're about to see.
Thanks, Laura. And 9-year veteran Trent Williams on that offensive line said it was something our team needed to hear, especially from him, as Jay Gruden has juggled injuries from training camp like all teams do. But no team has more players on injured reserve than the Redskins. And first-year head coach Pat Shurmur has his team playing well, especially offensively, although without a couple of his stars today on both sides of the football. Giants won the toss deferred. Week 14, NFC East, Redskins. Giants underway here on Fox. And Mark Sanchez, well, his New York football history, we all know about that fumble, but he did take his team to 2 championship games when he played with the Jets.
And that's one of the things that Pat Shurmur wanted his guys to know. Don't sleep on Mark Sanchez. He's accomplished some things in his career. He's had time this week to delve into the playbook a little bit more. Last week against Philadelphia, that was an emergency situation, unanticipated. So he's had the majority of the reps all week here during practice.
25-yard line with Peterson in the backfield. And Peterson, as expected, gets the football, and the Giants shove him backwards. Well, the offensive line has, both of these teams could say, hey, we've had to do some shuffling all year long. It's amazing that Peterson has been able to average 4.5 yards a carry considering the injuries. That's certainly played into the losing skid for Washington.
Yeah, and it's been the depth at certain positions. I mean, it has hit the offensive line, the guard position specifically. It's hit the quarterback position. And that's why when you say, hey, injuries are a part of the game, if they're distributed throughout the roster, but they've been at specific positions for the Redskins.
They know no boundary as Peterson does a little spinning and takes people with him for a first down across the 35-yard line. A lot of individual effort there from the 33-year-old.
Yeah, you say something on Thursday, but it's more important to follow it up on Sunday afternoon, and that's what Adrian Peterson did on that run right there. He is giving you everything he's got, trying to maximize this, and then just the toughness at the end. You know, going for the football, that's the second guy's responsibility. You better get Adrian Peterson wrapped up and let the number 2 guy come in and try and take the football.
In his 11th season, he picks up a dozen there. Remember, he was a late signee in training camp when injuries hit the running back position. As Peterson gets it again, and the Giants are ready for him. And I imagine this Giant defense will take a look at Darryl. They know with the situation that Peterson is going to carry the ball out of this game.
And that's one of the things you always hear defenses talking about. We've got to stop the run. We want to make this offense be one-dimensional. It's critical for the Giants today to do that with the situation at offensive line, at the quarterback position. If they can stuff the run and force Mark Sanchez to start throwing the ball, goes a long way.
Chris Thompson in at running back. Sanchez to throw, and through the hands of Jordan Reed, the team's leading receiver, who is often double teamed from that tight end spot because the wide receivers have yet to escalate their game.
And this is what I mean when I say, how do they respond to the pressure of having to play a near perfect game? You can't have this. You can't make that drop. You've got to finish that play, make the catch, stay ahead of the change, keep it manageable on second and third down.
Now it's 3rd down and 9. Ogletree, terrific season for the Giants.
Black. Hey, let's go 5-0. 180.
Giants come with a blitz, and Sanchez has time, throws, and dropped. It was right at the first down marker, and his receivers not helping him out. Crowder drops one after Reed does.
I mean, what more do you want Mark Sanchez to do? Here's the free blitzer coming that way. They get a little hit on him, but look at him stand in that pocket, sidesteps a little bit, puts it right on Jamison Crowder. So just a great job by Mark Sanchez. The movement in the pocket, stays alive, makes the throw. So he had 2 receivers drop passes on him in that series.
Curtis Riley put the pressure on the blitz, which forced that throw. Joel Davis A healthy return across the 21-yard line. It's a great rivalry, this Giant Redskin matchup over the course of the seasons. They play close games, and we're looking forward to see how this plays out. Just a quick check of the inactive players today after a 51-yard punt and an 11-yard return from the 21-yard line. Greg Minuski, defensive coordinator for Washington, looking on against Shermer and this offense. Eli Manning dumps it off to Saquon Barkley, who slips out of bounds. Whatever the record is, Eli Manning, his completion percentage up around 68%, a career best. And that says a lot for the two-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, he's on a nice little run right now over the last couple of games. And, you know, finding the identity of what you're going to be when a new coach and a new staff come in is important. And they seem to kind of found that a couple of weeks ago.
After a loss of 3, Barkley's going to lose more. Ryan Kerrigan came in on the rookie and dropped him right away.
Excellent guy on the outside, and you know, the first play was Ryan Kerrigan. Here's the second play, it's Ryan Kerrigan again, and there's nobody blocking him. I mean, how can you not block Ryan Kerrigan at the end of the line? So there's a missed assignment right there by the Giants.
Yeah, Kerrigan leads the team in sacks, and he got some negative yardage on the running back. They lose 3, they lose tie at 2, so a tough start after a loss of 5. 3rd and 18. Time for Eli Manning, who has to dump it off to Evan Ingram, and there's a flag down back inside the 5-yard line. There's another flag.
Holding, number 63. Offense, a penalties declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
Our referee is Carl Cheffers. And it'll be a 4th down situation. The punting team comes on. So, well, from a Redskin standpoint, the offense didn't look fired up, but the defense certainly played with some passion on those first few snaps.
They sure did. And you know, Adrian Peterson addressed the whole team, but DJ Swearinger, he's kind of the heart and soul of that Redskins defense, and he's been outspoken, and he's been trying to get his guys going, talking about a sense of urgency for a couple of weeks now as they fought through these injuries.
Riley Dixon from the 10. The rookie Stroman waving people away. A flag down, the ball bounces, and he grabs it after the fair catch sign. And here comes another flag. You can pretty much assume a flag on any kind of punt or kick. It's so commonplace.
And you follow that up with a huddle.
And you have to discuss to see who did what. He's pointing. Whenever they're pointing, now they're pointing at each other. What did you see? I don't think I saw this. Who threw the flag? Let's sort it out. As long as it's a discussion and not an argument.
Invalid fair catch signal, number 37, receiving team. That penalty's declined. During the kick, holding, number 37, receiving team. That penalty will be accepted. 1st down.
Well, both penalties are called on Greg Stroman. Tough break. Adrian Peterson and the Redskins back on offense in a moment.
Clear up the first part of that penalty, the invalid fair catch. Watch Greg Stroman. The ball hits the ground. Now he signals for the fair catch. So there's the illegal fair catch. And Chris, the second part?
Yeah, gave I think the incorrect number on. See, there's 39 and 35 on the hold, because obviously the rookie returner could not have been holding when he was giving the invalid fair catch signal. So the penalty was correct. The number's a little off, and there's another pass that should have been caught through the arms of Chris Thompson. What's going on with this Redskin team? 3 drops.
The 3 guys that Mark Sanchez told us he felt comfortable with it's Jordan Reed, Jamison Crowder, Chris Thompson, Vernon Davis. Those are the 4 guys. So 3 of those 4 guys have already dropped passes on Mark Sanchez.
Reliable veterans that are not coming up big for Washington. Thompson came back Monday night. It looks like there's another flag here. He had been out since week 8 with a
Illegal substitution, 12 players in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
These are the little things the details that Jay Gruden and his team needed to get ironed out this week. Cadence is going to be tough. How are they going to do with illegal procedure, false starts, 12 men on the field, personnel groups, formations, all the minutia of this offense that Mark Sanchez is going to be expected to learn in 4 days. It's going to be troublesome, but this is a terrible start for the Redskins.
And we were at practice on Friday, and there were certainly no sign of this team being out of sync. Maybe that's the Giant defense. Blitz is on again, and it's batted away. Pressure coming in before Sanchez's pass was knocked away by Aligwe. Laura?
I will say this, as much as we're talking about how they're not in sync, Mark Sanchez doesn't know the whole playbook yet, but he knows leadership. After that first drive, he came right over to that bench before he went and sat down with his coach. He walked up to every one of those receivers and said, I'm coming back to you guys.
Well, Sanchez was upbeat. He's a confident quarterback, and he thought the week of preparation as a starter with this team would make a difference as opposed to coming in relief as he had to previously. Protection is good. Thompson has it. Slips an ankle tackle, but is knocked out at the 25. And here comes the punting unit. Tress Way back out for Washington.
That negative plays getting you behind the chains, and let's not discount what Alec Ogletree did right there. That looked like it had potential. They had 3 guys out in front of that screen, and Alec Ogletree did a nice job.
Way has had a career against the Giants, 1 for 1 as a passer against them, and only 2 punts blocked in his entire career. The last one, the Giants did it to him in 2015 as he gets this one away. And Davis had an 11-yard return last time, tackled right away this time. Giants with a 4-8 record. Manning starting out that 1-7. There just wasn't any time for him to do anything. Remember, he had 7 sacks in the first meeting against Washington. Saquon Barkley emerging as a top running back, and they bounced back lately with 3 wins in their last 4, a 10-point increase, I should say, on their totals, as they have played for Shermer close games all year. No NFL team has played more one-score games this year. In fact, 10 for the Giants, decided by 1 possession, and a scoreless game so far. Barkley eases his way up to the 32-yard line. On this offensive line with Will Hernandez, the second rounder, and Nate Solder added, finally coming together. That's the reason for the improved scoring and winning 3 out of 4.
Jamal Brown, though, the right guard, maybe the biggest addition, the biggest component to that new starting 5 that they found, actually really helping out with Spencer Pulley at center and also Chad Wheeler at right tackle.
Shermer said, he said, I think the offensive line affects the entire attitude of our team. After a pickup of 4, Barkley drops it. It'll be a 3rd down play for the Giants, and Carissa Thompson has our first game break of the day. Carissa?
Thanks, Chris. Green Bay's first game without Mike McCarthy. Matt Ryan finds Julio Jones over the middle for this 16-yard score. Julio 3 catches for 63 yards on that drive. They're up early, 7-0. Chris?
Thank you, and enjoyed, Carissa, your conversation with Dak Prescott earlier. You'll see the Cowboys-Eagles coming up later on Fox as the Falcons, like the Redskins, try to end a losing streak.
Big left.
Manning, incomplete. No flag as Evan Ingram was covered by DJ Swearinger.
Nice job by the Redskins in coverage. There was really nowhere for Eli to go with that football. Tight coverage everywhere on the perimeter.
Greg Stroman, who had the invalid fair catch moments ago, back to receive Dixon's punt. He was crowded, but Dixon got it away and dropped but recovered by Greg Stroman, the rookie from Virginia Tech. Frustration for the Giants and the Redskins in the early going. Loyal fans here watching, well, in the first 5.5 minutes, 4 punts. Redskins take over inside their own 31-yard line.
Yeah.
Alex Smith, broken leg. Colt McCoy, broken leg.
Jam.
Mark Sanchez running the offense. Peterson and gang tackled by the Giants. Well, how does I guess they expect to run a lot, but without Landon Collins, whether it's run or pass, key player who went on the injured reserve with that shoulder injury, he led the team in tackling. How do the Giants adjust to that on defense? Yeah,
with multiple guys. Defensive coordinator James Betcher is going to have to use a number of different guys to try and cover for Landon Collins. He can play the deep half as a safety on the back end. He comes down to the box. He's a good blitzer, covers tight ends and running backs very well, so it's going to have to be replacement by committee for Landon Collins.
The pitch to Chris Thompson, who gets a good block, and Thompson heads upfield. Good enough for a first down.
Big Trent Williams, your left tackle right here, getting the kick out block. And how'd you like to be a corner having that big guy coming at you? So he gets the big separation, gets a nice lane for Chris Thompson.
A run of 11. Yeah, Thompson's only 5'8". You get a big guy in front of you, you can hide behind him. P. Ryan and Bibbs are inactive. So you have Thompson behind Peterson, Byron Marshall. The running game for Washington. Peterson slips an ankle tackle and stopped short right at the 44-yard line.
Kerry Wynn, he's been playing really well the last couple of weeks. He's kind of, how does that guy fit into this scheme? He's kind of an undersized guy. Watch number 72. Watch how quick he beats his guy up front, is in the backfield. Just got to finish that play right there. Excellent job. Just missed the tackle.
Wynn played his college football in Richmond, and normally family would come up and join, but some of the weather just below the line here. I know the Carolinas and parts of Virginia getting some snow and ice, so they'll gather at another time as Peterson remains the back after a 1-yard gain. Sanchez with plenty of time and dumps it off, tackled high and thrown to the ground is Chris Thompson, and it was Alec Ogletree making the stop.
That's actually one of the parts of Adrian's game that since he's come here to the Redskins, saw a little bit of when he was with Arizona last year, but as a receiver here in Washington, he's done really well. More so than we've seen throughout the early parts of his career.
And may need him a little more. Jordan Reed limped off moments ago. And being checked on over on the Redskins sideline. Looks like he's in pain. 3rd down and 6.
False start.
It'll be more.
Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
One of those little things you don't think about. New quarterback, new rhythm, new voice, new cadence.
I was fascinated when they talked about getting used to the voice of Mark Sanchez, and obviously the cadence and the sound, the inflection. Something that Alex Smith had mastered. His cadences, he would have like 9 or 10. He would make them up. I think they have 1 or 2 for this game with Sanchez, and they missed on that one. Now 3rd and 11. 180. Sanchez down at the 40. He had a moment but couldn't find anybody open. And Sean Chandler, one of those guys filling in, helping out. B.J. Hill closed in on Sanchez.
Oh, just a really nice job by the pass rush of the Giants. Watch, they're going to kind of hold them up there and ball up, but they won't get too far. Now they retrace. They come back. They see Mark Sanchez starting to climb in the pocket, disengage, and retrace back to the middle.
Tress Way, who leads the NFL with 33 punts inside the 20. Has a chance for that here. Fair catch called for, and Davis hauls it in at the 15-yard line. That's where the Giants will take over on offense after Sanchez and the Redskins come up. My running back outdo your running back. Barkley already 3 touches, been targeted another time, and 6 touches for Adrian Peterson. Scoreless game. 15-yard line, 1st down for Manning and the Giants. Blitz late. Eli got rid of it, but the catch made. Barkley adjusted on the early throw. Eli had to get rid of it.
Well, I tell you what, this is impressive. I mean, you talk about trust with a quarterback and your young running back. I mean, it's a clean blitz. Straight up the middle. You pointed out, Chris, he's got no choice but to get this throw, and he throws it so early, and it's in a perfect spot.
And the youngster connects well with the veteran Eli Manning, who next month will turn 38 years old. So that's one of the guys you go to without Odell Beckham in the lineup. Sideline throw, hand fighting going on, and in between, diving for the football and not coming up with it was Corey Coleman. There is a flag down. Looks like he had the ball for a moment. That's Fabian Moreau wondering, hey, is that call against me? And that looks like
pass interference. Number 31, defense, automatic, first down.
Hope that Coleman is okay.
He's got that hand trap. See that?
Yeah.
He's got it hooked,
yeah.
and he held it. Good call by the officials.
And Coleman still being checked. Coleman still got his arms on the football and landed awkwardly as he is helped to the Giants sideline. So you're down Beckham, and now you're down Coleman. Sterling Shepard, Russell Shepard, you got Benny Fowler and Jamal Davis, the rookie from Bethune-Cookman. With the penalty, it marks the ball. It's a 25-yard penalty, so it's in midfield. And meanwhile, for the Redskins, Reed is headed to the locker room.
Wow. It's unbelievable. It just keeps happening week after week.
Incomplete. Sterling Shepard, the target.
That is really well done by Josh Norman. I mean, he basically runs this route right side by side, step for step with Sterling Shepard. It's going to be an out and up and then back again. So there's the out, now the up. Look at him. That's played so well.
And Norman's had a good year. He was going to go with Odell Beckham, as we all would have expected. So now he can roll around depending upon what the Giants do offensively as Barkley works his way up the sideline. So they didn't know until Friday. Beckham had practiced all week, a kind of a leg whip at the end of that Eagle game on what wasn't called a penalty, and a quad problem that affected the team, and so he didn't make the trip. And the Giants had to adjust after thinking they'd have him all week in their game plan.
Yeah, and he's going to be featured. He's going to do unique things for your offense. So all week long, you're creating your game plan based on the fact that Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a part of that. And all of a sudden on Thursday, last second, you find out he's not. So very, very challenging for the Giants to adjust to that and try and fill that role.
Giants need 3. Eli Manning is sacked. He had a moment, but the pocket was collapsing around him, and that's Deron Payne, the rookie from Alabama.
It's a good pass rush, and I think here's going to be your big one right here as you're coming in from that right side. You know, Chad Wheeler working on it, but he gets the corner, gets the press, comes in, and it's the responsibility staying in your rush lane, not allowing Eli Manning the opportunity to find that void, step up, slide left or right. Good controlled pass rush by the Redskin front.
Redskins a top 10 defense. They have not allowed big plays on the running game especially. So Dixon is back out to punt. Gets it away. Strowman fakes the catch. The ball bounces and is down inside the 2. Antonio Hamilton was there to grab it on the bounce and down it. Saluting him and his special teams work.
And the fans here are kind of booing because they thought that there was interference with Greg Strowman, but he did not signal for a fair catch. He did not do anything. And you can block a player to prevent them from downing that ball inside. So that's a legal play.
Strowman was blocking, and Dixon.
There's no foul on the receiver. He was not in position to catch the kick.
Dixon dropped it in there beautifully, and it bounced long enough just right for Hamilton to get to it.
I mean, we see returners all the time block the cover guys, the gunners, from downing that punt. So kind of a similar situation there, but he didn't initiate the contact as much as Jamal Davis did. But great job by the Giants. You know, a little bit of complimentary football. The offense gets a couple first downs, and now they flip field position. Washington had the opportunity to do that on the first couple of drives, but they couldn't string anything together.
Could be an early navigation point as to the direction of this game. Peterson knocked down right away. Janoris Jenkins wouldn't let him go. He's playing well. We have a flag down up at the 9-yard line.
Holding, number 71, offense. The penalties declined. Second down.
Let's get a quick game break and go back to Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. So Packers trailing 7-0 against the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers connects with Devontae Adams for that 7-yard score, his 12th of the season. We're all tied up in Green Bay. Chris?
All right, thank you. Joe Philbin taking over as the interim head coach for the Packers, who are trying to end a 3-game losing skid. And that pass is intercepted. Curtis Riley with a Giants touchdown. And that ball looked like it was deflected. Riley was there to pick it out of the air and take it in. Riley's 3rd interception this season. And produces the first points of this game.
Well, coming into the game, Jay Gruden talked to Mark Sanchez about, not trying to make the great play. A deflection right there by the Giants, and the defensive line changes the trajectory of that, and now it's a pick 6 for the Giants. But being smart, don't try to make the great play. Just kind of avoid these huge negative plays.
Kareem Martin got his arms up, and Riley took it in. Washington's offense has just struggled from the start here, and turnovers that have plagued the career of Sanchez, trying to do something with very little. The extra point adventurous, but somehow got through by the special teams player of the week, Aldrick Rosas, from last week. It's 7-0.
And again, here's that complimentary football. You've got the Redskins backed up. Your defense comes out and makes a play. And this game has been kind of sitting there through these first possessions by each team. Neither offense able to really generate a whole lot. So it ends up being the Giants' special teams and defense that gets things started.
And you said at the beginning, Daryl, after spending some time with both teams, and it's just a sense, a vibe, that the Giants, you felt like they were more in a playoff run than the Redskins, even though the records don't say that.
No, the Giants, they're excited. They're playing better football the last 4 games. They understand if they can finish this season and run the table, they get to 8-8. You go into the offseason with a huge positive feeling. But for the Redskins, if they were to run the table, they could get to 10-6. A 10-6 season under the adversity that they have faced would be a huge accomplishment for this team. But I just think the amount of injuries has just really kind of started to catch up with their mentality, their psyche. Yeah,
and some of the players. In fact, Trent Williams said the injuries have been bone-chilling, devastating. But he said, we're not panicking. Danny Johnson back to receive. By the way, we've only had 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns this entire NFL season. Here in week 14 as Johnson fights hard to get up the sideline and goes out of bounds beyond the 30-yard line. Well, twin brothers will defend their titles. It's a huge night of championship fights on Fox. Jamal Charlo taking on Willie Monroe Jr. and Jermell Charlo defends his belt against Tony Harrison. Premier Boxing Champions live from Barclays Center December 22nd on Fox and, of course, the Fox Sports app. Well, these two division rivals are slugging it out, and nobody needs to remind the Giants that they've, in the last 10 division games, they've won just once. 0-4 this year in the NFC East, but leading here now. J.U. Chesson is thrown for a loss. Josh Morrow was in on that play.
Doing your job, staying at home. Josh Morrow, he's responsible for the backside for any type of play like this. Gets upfield, recognizes it with his eyes.
And the number of negative plays that Jay Gruden warned us and his team about, that's been a problem since, well, let's say during this 3-game losing streak. Injuries at the guard position and at quarterback have continued to mount.
Hey, rip, 5-2, rip, 5-2.
Protection for Sanchez. He takes a while and is going to be sacked. Olivier Vernon and Kareem Martin. Martin, who had the tip ball earlier, and Vernon, who's coming on a little bit after the ankle injury, converge on Sanchez.
Again, this is some of the things that Jay Gruden, Redskin fans are going to have to deal with today. You have to understand how hard this is on Mark Sanchez. There's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad, and we saw that at practice on Friday. Sometimes this offense looked good on air. Sometimes you could tell that he was just learning this playbook.
Right 30!
There's a whistle and a flag on 3rd and 18.
False start, number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Laura?
You keep talking about the injuries wreaking havoc on Washington physically and mentally. This is another big one. We saw Jordan Reed, I would say limping off into the locker room, but wasn't even limping. He could put no pressure on his right foot. He had to have 2 people helping him walk very slowly into the locker room. His status officially is questionable.
All right, thank you. So Vernon Davis and now Jeremy Sprinkle are your 2 active tight ends on 3rd and 23.
34.
You're a Redskin fan, you're saying, boy, just don't turn it over. Chris Thompson gets back near where they started. So just beyond the 30, and it's 4th down as the first quarter is winding down.
We talked at the top about, how do the Redskins respond to having to play a near perfect game, an air-free game in this first quarter. Too many mistakes, and mistakes that are within their control. They've got to get this cleaned up here as you get to the start of the second quarter.
The flip of field position, as you pointed out, Darrell, made the difference. Tress Way gets it away. Backing up to the 16 is Davis. He's got room to run. He's up across the 30, up to the 40. And a healthy return to set up Eli Manning and the Giants offense. Joel Davis, who came in averaging 12 yards a return, got 23 on that after a 52-yard boot.
And everybody for the Redskins needs to pitch in today for this offense to help them out with all the injuries they've had there. The defense started well, but Tress Way and that punt coverage team was going to be a big component of how well they played today. They've struggled a little bit here in the first quarter.
And this Redskin crowd filled with some Giant fans, a bit quiet at the moment. Sterling Shepard goes out of bounds, and that'll bring an end to the opening quarter. Curtis Riley, his first career touchdown with a pick 6. Giants lead 7-0 after 1 quarter on Fox. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and it's almost his big scene, especially if you're the Giants facing the Redskins in December or January.
Where does he find the time? I mean, taking care of the reindeer, getting all the presents ready, making sure the sled is ready to go, and now he's obviously been taking some dance lessons at some point.
That's his workout routine, so he can make it down the chimney. Barkley slips a tackle, and it's still going. Saquon Barkley near a first down. What a terrific run from the rookie. Taken 2nd overall in the draft.
All right, watch the wiggle, the jump cut. This is the thing that all the Redskin defenders were worried about. And I actually asked them because, being down in Dallas, I like Ezekiel Elliott. I like the way he runs, and asked them about both of these guys, facing both of these guys. They said, sometimes Saquon Barkley is harder to tackle. He's got a little bit more wiggle than Zeke and has that jump cut.
And you saw the yardage that he has been able to produce behind an offensive line that's still building. Look at him fight for yardage there. Yeah, Swearinger said, I haven't seen him get hit hard yet, referring to Barkley and the way he runs. As Wayne Gallman carries on that one, there is Saquon Barkley.
That's the key for longevity in the NFL, is that quick move where you don't take those big hits. And you got safeties in the league like DJ Swearinger that can come up and put a big pop on you. And the more wiggle you got, the longer you're going to get to play in the NFL.
And he said, what rookie wall? If there is one, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't felt it. Came in averaging just under 5 yards a carry. And has had 3 touchdown runs of 50 or more. Most by a rookie since Adrian Peterson did it with the Vikings in 2007.
False start, number 78, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The call on Jamon Brown. Redskins already have 5 penalties accepted against them. That's the first on Shermer's team. And he pointed out there's only 15 players from last year's roster that are currently here. So he's had to kind of, in his first year, find unity among the troops.
They single, 5-1. Express it.
Quick snap. Barkley. And finally a whistle. He has fought hard to stay on his feet, and he's fun to watch. Hurdling, dazzling, stiff arming.
He's got a little bit of everything, and that's the challenge. You know, you first look at him and you see the power, and you see, you know, some of these workouts that he's been posting online, and you're expecting a certain type of runner, and then all of a sudden you see that athleticism and that escapability that is also a part of his game.
Also more than 70 catches, so whatever they need him to do. And it looks like we have a timeout, Washington.
First charge, timeout, Washington.
And now this message from State Farm. Eli Manning, who appreciates the work ethic and kind of the old school approach of Saquon Barkley. You know, it'll be interesting, the game within the game, Daryl, that the Redskin defense has only allowed one run beyond 20 yards this year. That was a 21-yarder. And with a guy like Barkley out there, he could challenge that today against Washington. Eli Manning for Coleman. He's got it. Corey Coleman inside the 10, waiting for that to drop out of the sky. Last time we saw Coleman, he was diving and being helped to the sideline.
Just a great route, gets separation right there, but for me, I think it's the throw. I mean, there's two defenders right there. He drops it right into that spot, and Eli Manning, the location on a throw where he was pressured and just got rid of it super early, phenomenal.
A gain of 30. Barkley has it. I did bring up to Pat Shermer a little bit about throwing downfield deep balls. He called it a false narrative. We do that. When people talk about it, it's something we like to do.
Well, all of a sudden you start leaning on your running back, and you know, automatically people assume, hey, you know, they're not going downfield, they're not going after that explosive play, and not at all. I mean, that's what allows you, because a lot of that comes off your play action and your movement.
Loco!
Well, that 30-yarder set this up. Eli Manning on second and goal. Goes down all the way back near the 19-yard line. Ryan Kerrigan and Jonathan Allen chased him down.
Sorry, Chris. You could see the reaction by Eli Manning when he got up. But again, this is good rush lanes. Watch the Redskin front line. Watch the discipline that they have. They converge. There's really nowhere for Eli Manning to escape, and he does the one thing he can't do down here, and that's try to get out the back door.
Well, I'm sure Giant fans are saying just throw it away, but it looked like he couldn't even set up to do that.
And he knows. You can see right there. Look at the reaction.
Yeah, 5-4-1. Hole.
He wants the ball on third and goal for the end zone, and incomplete. Sterling Shepard was back there. Here comes the field goal unit.
It's just a missed opportunity. That big sack just crushed that drive, an opportunity to get a touchdown, and now you're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt. Good coverage again downfield by the Redskins secondary. Josh Norman off to a good start here this afternoon.
Rosas lining up for the field goal. He was outstanding last week. Has only missed one. He's been steady all year, and from 35 yards away, he nails it.
Where did it go?
Redskins keep the Giants out of the end zone, but they add 3, and it's 10-0 New York. Giants had a field goal after the big play to Corey Coleman. Giants are his 4th team since August. He was traded by the Browns to Buffalo, cut by the Bills, signed by the Patriots, and then cut by New England. Was on their practice squad. Giants add Coleman October 18th, and needed by Eli Manning this offense more today with no Odell Beckham, and was injured slightly earlier, touchback, but obviously has come back to tough it out for the Giants. Meanwhile, here in the second quarter, miscues for the Redskins.
Yeah, the big thing, Jordan Reed a drop there. A great play by Sanchez there. Jamison Crowder has a drop. Chris Thompson also a drop. And that's tipped by Kareem Martin at the line of scrimmage. But I don't know if that's not a pick six regardless, even if that comes out clean.
And just the things that Jay Gruden was guarding his team against. Penalties, trying to avoid turnovers.
31.
But their defense is keeping them in it at 10-0 here.
180. You want to spot it? 180. 180.
Peterson takes the crowd up to about the 34-yard line. And game break with Kurt Menefee. Hey, Kurt.
Hey, Chris, watch this throw by Baker Mayfield to Jarvis Landry. 51 yards, and it's on a dime. He's double coverage, but it winds up being a touchdown. Baker 6 for 6, 133 yards in that score, and they're all tied with the Panthers.
Thank you, Kurt. Panthers trying to end a losing skid. Boy, things have gone better for the Browns since the coaching change there.
McCarthy.
There is a connection with the front office of the Browns and Mike McCarthy, who is the free agent coach, as Peterson has nowhere to go on this carry. Mentioned the Panthers moments ago, and Monday the Seahawks and Vikings will play each other. This is the playoff picture at the moment. Bears and Rams will be facing off. In fact, the Saints, who are trailing Tampa Bay, can clinch the division with the NFC South with a win today.
And you look at the Redskins are in that mix at 6-6. Obviously need a little bit of help, but that's why it was kind of odd, that feeling that we got visiting with them on Friday afternoon.
And Eagles Cowboys coming up later today on Fox, affecting the division and the wild card. Third and 7. Sanchez flips and it's tipped, deflected. He was trying to get to Crowder, but Ogletree knocked it away. It was a soft throw.
But he's doing a nice job, and this is such a challenge for Mark Sanchez in this situation. And Alec Ogletree does a great job in that situation. He comes in, he holds the lineman, and he's actually the guy that gets the deflection. I mean, he's right there in front, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and is able to knock that ball down.
Tressway, he's been busy, averaging nearly 50 a boot. And that ball is rolling inside the 20 without a return. Giants will take over on offense, protecting a 10-0 advantage as Sanchez thought he had a completion, but it was deflected. Baby, it's cold outside. Along with the fans, Laura Oakman down on the field, Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers.
51,
Hope you're
51.
enjoying the NFL on Fox. Chilly temperatures, cloudy here.
118.
Giants protecting a 10-0 lead. Barkley straight ahead with a big hole. And running through is Saquon Barkley. And he's going in for a Giants touchdown. 78 yards. That deserves a wow. You know, he casually mentioned, Daryl, in my mind, when I touch the ball, I think I can score at any time, anywhere. And he showed it.
And here's the key block on DJ Swearinger. He's going to fill that hole. And it's a wide receiver. Sterling Shepard does a great job to get the key block. And you mentioned before the longest run of the year against the Redskins, 21 yards. How's that going to play out? Well, it's now 78.
That changed in a New York minute. 9th rushing touchdown, and he has put the value back in drafting a running back high. He makes it 17-0 Giants. Thanking the guys that you pointed out, Daryl, that made it easy for him with his 6th play, 50 yards or more, leads the NFL, 4 rushing, 2 receiving, a dash of 78 yards.
That breaks a record of one of the guys he looked up to, Adrian Peterson, rookie year. Fletcher's 4th 50-plus touchdown run. So that's a record, too. Doing some great stuff here in his rookie year. And we talked about the strength, the elusiveness, but then in space, the ability to run away. I mean, he's got everything. And that's why people said, coming out of that draft, he's a generational back. And when you say that, that means you could play at any era during the NFL. And I love the generational spirit. He's a little bit old school, Chris.
Yeah, he didn't have some scheme set up with the celebration. He dropped the ball and he ran away excited, and then thanked his teammates. That's old school and much appreciated.
Double, double, double. 180! 180!
And he's over 1,000 yards rushing. Crowder gets near a first down. And the Redskins hope to get something going. First 5 possessions have been difficult. You can't put it all on Sanchez, his first start since he was a member of the Eagles against the Giants. That's when Pat Shurmur was on the Philadelphia sideline.
Yeah, a lot of it has been their own doing. Negative runs, penalties. They had to stay ahead of the chains, and they've struggled to do that.
Peterson takes a hit. Alec Ogletree, and a flag down.
Holding. Number 78. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
They're in the top 5 with negative runs in the NFL. They're tied for the league lead in holding penalties. So a lot of this is on them, and they had to have that all cleared up here this afternoon. And they've just really, really struggled with things. You can see right there, taking the lead over the Indianapolis Colts now.
Hey, Lucky. Hey, 180! 180!
Trying to overcome negative yardage. Sanchez, and that's intercepted by Ogletree. His 5th interception of this season. He fights to try to get to the end zone where he's been before a couple of times this year. His 5 interceptions, most by a Giant linebacker in more than 5 decades.
And you know what that does right there? That gets him an opportunity to play offense, because he had a deal with Coach Shurmur. If he got 5 picks, he was going to get to play some offense. They had to get him an offensive play. So here's Alec Ogletree right here. And again, just, watch the eyes. He's watching everything. It's another tip ball. Moving back in. As soon as you see the throw by Sanchez to Jamison Crowder, you start moving that way, and you're great spot for the interception.
Wayne Gallman is in, powering to the 5-yard line. Giants defense with its 2nd takeaway.
You need so much help from your supporting cast when you're in a situation like that. Now, is that body right, or that ball right where it needed to be? No, it's a little bit back, but that's really because where the defender was. Mark Sanchez putting that on that back shoulder. And again, we've got a team that's not helping out their quarterback.
Go.
Wayne Gallman remains the running back. He gets the pitch and knocked down out of bounds outside the 3-yard line.
You mentioned before, this defense was kind of helping out, holding this Redskin team in the game, being able to force a field goal on that other possession. Can they do it again here? The response by this group being backed up inside that 10-yard line on that interception.
Ogletree, one of those players that when you talk about building a defense, when you come in here, you start with Olivier Vernon, Alec Ogletree, Janoris Jenkins, or Landon Collins, depending upon who's healthy. Manning for the end zone, wide open touchdown, Sterling Shepard. And he'll celebrate in his own unique way and try to get others involved. All right, is this a family photo? A look of disgust from Jay Gruden. Well, the Giants didn't even need to use Saquon Barkley in that series. It was Gallman and then the flip to Shepard. And that extra point, it went through. It was deflected. There's a flag down. It may have something to do with how that ball was touched. Eli Manning, his 16th touchdown pass of the year and the 4th for Shepard, Sterling Shepard, who was battling a rib injury. Looks like the call is going against Washington here. But since the extra point went through, see if they can take it on the kickoff or if it has to be enforced.
Personal foul, number 98, defense. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The extra point is successful.
Matt Ioannidis of the Redskins called for the penalty.
Again, this is going to be one of those little bunch releases at the top, and it just comes clean. A little pump fake by Eli Manning. You know, but the big thing is I really like the play design. You know, out there on the outside, right there, you see Josh Norman. He's giving up. He's going inside too, and they've got Sterling Shepard coming out the backside. So you're thinking one of those pick plays, and you're trying to pass that off, and you do a little bit too much.
And celebrating with his coach. So I guess even the Redskin defense and Josh Norman had to adjust to not seeing Odell Beckham. Figure, hey, we worry about this main guy, now we got to worry about a group of guys.
I think right there you're trying to make a play, but you step out of your job and you go down inside to help out your teammate, your buddy, and then they've got a play designed to take advantage of that, and all of a sudden you've got Sterling Shepard wide open.
Touchback. Redskins will try and get something going on offense. From our perch with Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers, appreciate you watching with us. Giants didn't want to talk playoffs, but when you're mathematically still in it and the NFC East is as tight as it is and the Giants are playing the kind of football they're playing, why it's a season of hope. Why not get excited?
Well, the biggest thing that they can hope for is to run the table at the end and finish 8-8. 8-8 is not bad, and this is a team that had to come from a long way over the last 2 years. Pat Shurmur talked about an offense that was really struggling, and this is a group that had only scored 30-plus points twice in the last 43 games, and those both happened this season. So there's a lot of work to do here for this Giants team to kind of dig themselves out of the hole that they've been in, and to go 4-4 down the stretch, to follow up a 1-7 with a 7-1 and get to 8-8. That's great stuff going into the offseason.
Yeah, and rounding the numbers, they're scoring. They in the last 4 games when they won 3 of the last 4 coming into this from averaging 19 points a game up to 29, and here they get. After a slow start, the offense is in gear in this game. They got a defensive touchdown. And already 2 takeaways. Sanchez on the run, dumps it in the middle, knocked down short of the first down. Josh Doctson with the catch. And by the way, Josh Johnson signed as the backup quarterback because of the injuries at the position. 10-year veteran who had bounced around with a number of teams and had been in Jay Gruden's system some time ago.
Yeah, baby.
And looking on.
Yeah.
180! What is it?
3rd and 2. Chris Thompson, the pitch. He fights to avoid being dumped behind the 30-yard line, but he's not going to get enough for his first down as Grant Haley made the play. And let's get a game break with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. So Falcons trailing 10-7 in Green Bay when Matt Ryan intercepted Rashad Breeland, who takes it 22 yards for the score. Packers up in this one 17-7. Chris, Daryl, and Laura.
All right, thank you very much. Packers playing in Chicago next Sunday. Saints are trailing in their game. Kansas City has a lead over Baltimore. Chiefs win, they secure a playoff spot. Davis smothered inside the 15-yard line by Monty Nicholson. An inspired special teams play for Washington. It's over 4 minutes to go as Eli Manning's numbers updated with that group of touchdown throwers in NFL history. And that's pretty impressive.
How about that draft class? Rivers, Manning, and Roethlisberger all coming out together.
Fran Tarkenton hanging around in there. The scrambler who also could throw it. And a Hall of Famer.
118! What's that?
Barkley He set a Giants rookie record with his 13th touchdown. That draft class with Rivers, remember, drafted, traded, Eli in the flip, Roethlisberger, a couple of Super Bowls. Rivers has yet to get to a Super Bowl, but that Charger team, we'll see him Thursday night against the Chiefs. Capable.
Is this the year? Does Phillip Rivers finally get there? Well, we saw him earlier this year. They are playing well. They've got all the pieces in place. That's going to be a great game Thursday night.
Barkley's over 100 yards rushing in this game, over 1,000 for the season. Eli Penny on the reception here across the 35-yard line.
There's nobody there. There's no defender out there in the flat. So again, this had to be a near perfect performance by the Redskins, which means offensively, all your supporting cast got to help out Mark Sanchez. The situation you find yourself in defensively, you've got to play really well. Special teams, everybody has to play great today, and they've really struggled to play complementary football.
After a pickup of 16, Giants moving. Barkley works through a hole, and good tackle as he got up around the 41-yard line. It was interesting, Strowman made the play. Barkley was telling us that Shermer had challenged him about tough yards, and he said, I want to run like it's third down all the time. I thought that was kind of interesting, just a mentality from the young running back.
Yeah, just always trying to work on a different part of his game. And sometimes, we've gotten to see Le'Veon Bell and kind of that patient move up towards the line of scrimmage. He wants to hit it a little bit faster. He wants to have a little bit more speed to break some arm tackles.
And Barkley is loose. Moving to the middle of the field. Pointing, shoving. What a run from Saquon Barkley.
With a guy like this, you've got to get him off his path. This is just a straight run. They never make him change direction. It's that press play to the outside. Boom, there's the one cut. And the run support is just lacking right now. He turns Clinton Dix all the way around. Great hustle down the field by Sterling Shepard to try and help get him into the end zone.
He's near 160 yards on the ground already after a 52-yard run. After the 2-minute warning, another outstanding run, a season-high career high for the rookie Saquon Barkley. 159 yards on the ground today.
Yeah, just enjoy, everybody. That's a great job.
Wayne Gallman comes in as Eli Manning floats one out of bounds. It'll be second and goal.
To have big runs down the field, you've got to have blocking by your wide receivers. Well, here comes Sterling Shepard in the mix, number 87, to get Josh Norman out of pursuit, and almost was able to get Saquon Barkley into the end zone.
Yeah, Barkley taking a breather, and he talked about hitting the hole a lot faster. He referred to guys like Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley, how each has their own pace, their own style. But he's got one worth watching. Manning, end zone throw, and the catch made for a touchdown. Benny Fowler on the receiving end.
Here's Benny Fowler right here, just going to cross the field. They got the bootleg going out to the right. They lose him. Trying to catch up to him, Fabian Moreau just a step late. Nice throw by Eli Manning. He's throwing the ball really well this afternoon.
Well, and I think this is what the Giants had in mind. General manager, David Gettleman drafting Barkley to go with the veteran quarterback and shaping an offensive line.
That was the key. I mean, there were a number of different starting fives through the course of the beginning of the year.
3 different centers.
Exactly. And I mean, right now, Eric Flowers and Patrick Omame are in Jacksonville starting. So you got guys that aren't even on the team anymore that were starters for him early in the year. So it was a process to get to the point where they are right now. And that allows Saquon Barkley to have these running lanes. That gives you the protection for Eli Manning. And now all of a sudden, play action, bootlegs, all the different things that come off his ability to be a threat in the run game start to work for your offense.
And Eli Manning, the 7th quarterback with 55,000 passing yards. If he gets 55 more, he'll hit that mark. And with that touchdown pass, now 355 in his career. Redskins 2 timeouts. Offense has never really threatened in this game for Washington. Let's check in back in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Chiefs look to clinch a playoff berth as they host the Ravens. The Colts battle the Texans down in Houston, and the Patriots try to wrap up the AFC East title against the Dolphins. Be sure to join us. You never know who's going to drop on by.
We would all look that small next to Cletus, right? I mean, I don't want you to get the wrong impression. He's a big, tough guy. That Cletus.
Lucky 3-6, Lucky 3-6.
The Chiefs are leading in their game. The Saints are trailing, and the Patriots are up 6 on the Dolphins. Those teams with a playoff chance to clinch today. Underneath, pass complete at the 30 to Chris Thompson. 5th completion in 12 attempts for Mark Sanchez. He had some drops early and then a couple of interceptions.
Well, let's see if this can jumpstart a little bit for the Redskins here. This was something that he was able to do well against Philadelphia on Monday night. The 2-minute drive right at the end of the half. Kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm. Maybe they can carry something into the second half.
Pressure coming, and he's sacked at the 20-yard line.
Or maybe not.
The Giants say maybe not. Olivier Vernon and Lorenzo Carter were there. Timeout, Giants. The clock in the head, I'm wondering, Daryl, for your years playing with the great Hall of Fame quarterback like Troy Aikman, among others, though, this, I don't know if sitting out for a while or being used to knowing when to dump it, when to run, when to throw it, if that catches up with you when he was out. He hadn't thrown a ball in a regular season game in a 2-year period until he got thrown in last week.
Yeah, he tried to stay in throwing condition as best he could, working at it throughout the course of the year, but with the offensive line situation that the Redskins are facing this year, even if you do have a good clock in your head, you better make sure it's speeded up a little bit.
Ringo,
the clock could expire, and of course the Giants, you see those pressure numbers. The Giants defense has not made it easy regardless of who's playing quarterback. Sanchez down the middle of the field through the hands of Jamison Crowder. Probably should have been caught. It's a bit of a tough catch, but it was delivered.
You got to make the tough catch. I mean, this is a really well thrown ball. Watch the end of this. Yeah, there's some defenders' hands and everything right there, but they just haven't been able to make a play to help out their quarterback.
And you know, if you're Mark Sanchez, I mean, he was grateful for this opportunity. He thought he might not get a chance this year. And he's playing for, not just this year. He's playing for his career. I mean, here's a guy who was out of work. Tressway. Joel Davis. And weaving his way through up across the 41-yard line. Laura?
You guys are talking about how the offense isn't helping Mark Sanchez. Jay Gruden really said that he issued a whole team-wide challenge this week trying to help the offense out. He said, I issued a big challenge to the defense, to the special teams. I told him there's a lot of teams who have gone far that have had great defenses and special teams, and the offense has had to try to find its way. We're trying to find our way right now. I told them, he said, we need you guys to have your best game today. We got to make splash plays somewhere else. They're not being made anywhere else.
Well, and there's a lot of talking. I mean, Adrian Peterson can give a fired up speech, and that's a guy you listen to. But if you're not getting results, Peterson 9 carries for just 16 yards. And the defense now looks like it's wearing down. Gallman shoved backwards. And only hang in there so long. But this is a total flip of earlier in the year when the Redskins were 6-3. And they actually at one point had the only winning record of any team in the NFC East when they led the division.
Before the injuries to their starting guards, Brandon Sheriff and Sean Laval, and then the terrible injury to Alex Smith, this was a good team in control of their destiny.
Corey Coleman gets a first down. Giants will use another timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. Piece of halftime coming up with the guys back in the studio with all the highlights, updating those games of playoff importance as well. Bills leading the Jets. Texans winning streak on the line as they trail the Colts 14-7. And don't forget the Eagles and Cowboys, America's Game of the Week with Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, Aaron Andrews coming up later here on Fox. What a half from Saquon Barkley. What a year. I want to talk more. We had a great time digging into some things in terms of running backs and history, and in the second half we'll have an opportunity to get into that as he looks on, and Wayne Gallman is in the backfield with Eli Manning. Evan Ingram has a first down and sprinting inside the 10. There's a guy Giant fans want to see healthy and figuring in the offense.
Absolutely, and this is what he creates for a defense. Very athletic, very fast from that tight end position, wide receiver skills, good speed to run away. You cannot lose him in coverage, even just a few yards down the field, because he shows you the ability he has to create an explosive play.
23rd overall pick in his second year, gain of 38 yards. Another first and goal, 13 seconds with a timeout remaining. Manning, incomplete. Coverage was good. Wayne Gallman was the target. Yeah, Ingram missed 2 games with a hamstring, then missed 3 games with a knee injury earlier. And a guy who said, I'm ready. I'm looking forward to this opportunity. And again, worth pointing out, if you weren't with us earlier, with Odell Beckham practicing all week, but then Friday the decision made because of the quad injury not to make the trip. So other people have stepped up for the Giants.
Hey, Lee.
Got it.
Manning's throw should have been intercepted. Greg Stroman had it. It popped up, and then Sterling Shepard adjusted to a defensive play.
Oh, I don't know what Eli saw on this one. This is defended extremely well, and the ability to undercut that by Stroman. Yeah, you need to go over and thank Sterling Shepard for breaking that up.
Shepard has a touchdown catch in this game, and Rosas going after his 15th straight field goal made, and he's got it. He's hot. And so are the Giants. 34-0 as the clock expires to end the first half. And take a look now at the play of the first half presented by DirecTV. More for your thing, that's our thing. A 78-yard touchdown run from Saquon Barkley, who has 159 yards rushing and has set the tone for the Giants in this NFC East match with Washington. Coming up, Visa halftime report right after a quick timeout. We're just up the road from our nation's capital, and glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. Time for today's Game Flow, brought to you by Progressive. Been a Giants avalanche here at FedEx Field, 34-0. Most points in the first half for the Giants since 2012, getting ready to receive the kick from Washington. Meanwhile, the Redskins on 8 possessions, 2 ended with interceptions, the other 6 ended with punts. They did not threaten the scoreboard at all. Corey Coleman, who has a touchdown catch back to return. Giants trying to win for the 4th time in their last 5 games, and the Redskins stuck in a 3-game losing skid. It's about to go to 4 if they don't try and turn things around. And we have to turn around from the field behind us. Certainly an entertaining game. You can watch a guy like Barkley all day and the savvy Eli Manning. So let's talk about what you expect from the Giants in the second half with this lead where they are.
Well, we might get an opportunity to see Kyle Lauletta, right? So it's one of the topics of conversation that's gone on during the course of the year regarding the Giants.
That's the backup,
yep,
right? The
backup quarterback. So at 1-7, some people asking when are we going to get an opportunity to see what the future is. So as well as they played today, might be able to slot right into that opportunity for Kyle Lauletta.
In the meantime, a rare tackle for loss on Barkley by the Redskins. Laura?
I think it's the most enjoyable halftime conversation I've ever had with Pat Shurmur, obviously, who told me, I have a team out there that's playing hard and they are loving to play for each other. This is how it manifests itself. They're making plays in all three phases and enjoying the experience. This is something we can build on. Could not have been more different with Jay Gruden, who said, we've got to finish the game. I told him we're going to compete, play hard, finish with physicality, class, and heart.
Thank you, Laura. After a loss of 6, Manning to throw, and that's incomplete.
I think one of the reasons that Coach Shurmur will be happy about that, talking about everybody playing for each other, that was one of the things that he wanted to get set here when he first came in. It was kind of funny. What was the first thing you wanted to do? He goes, well, I had a list of a lot of things that I had to do, and I had to get them all done quickly, but they were all based around the team. Everything was about the team. So for him to come out and say the guys are playing for each other, they've bought into that. This has been a great turnaround the second half of the season.
And what he learned, among other things, from his 2 years as the Cleveland head coach, as Manning is set to throw and dumps it off to Barkley. He said he had quarterbacks there and he wanted things to be perfect. The team wasn't winning, and obviously he was let go by the Browns. But he said Mike Holmgren taught him that the number one thing you have to have is your quarterback has to know that you believe in him, that you have confidence in him, and then the rest of the team will see that. And that was something right away he and Eli connected on.
Yeah. Exactly, and it is huge. It's important, and it's been a huge topic of conversation around this team for several years now. And to make sure that you get that message that's coming out that we have full faith in Eli Manning. He gives us the best opportunity to win games Sunday after Sunday.
Fair catch called for, and a flag flies. Stroman just across the 35-yard line. Hauling in the punt. Giants have only one penalty accepted against them today. 7 on the Redskins.
During the kick, holding, number 35, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Washington will be pushed back to the 25-yard line. A lot of meetings over the years between these two teams. Giants with the upper hand today. Redskin tight end Jordan Reed has been officially ruled out. Laura updating that moments ago for us. He was injured in the first half, and as Jay Gruden has said, the offense kind of goes through Jordan Reed. It has, and it has to go somewhere else. Trailing 34-0. Sanchez is going to get sacked again. Josh Morrow, 4th sack of this game for the Giants defense.
And when you've got all those changes, you only have to rush 4. And now the advantage is clearly for the defense. You can drop 7 back into coverage. And this Giant front now, because of the struggles with this Redskins offensive line, feels very comfortable just rushing 4.
Yeah, you mentioned Kyle Lauletta, maybe seeing him. We might see Josh Johnson if Sanchez can't get the offense going as Vernon Davis makes a catch. But again, it's not all him. The injuries have mounted, and we mentioned at the start that no team has more players on injured reserve than Washington. It started early and has been nonstop.
It really has. And when we talked at the top about injuries being a part of the game, but when you have a season like this, with not only this number, but specifically in certain positions that really impacts the depth of your offensive line, the depth at your quarterback position, it's not next man up mentality anymore. You can't expect to be able to match up in certain positions when you've had those many guys go down.
And the kinds of injuries Trent Williams said, it's devastating to lose the face of your franchise the way that Alex Smith was injured. And then, of course, Colt McCoy. And Sanchez is going to go down again. It was as if he wanted to let it go, but Lorenzo Carter got to him when he pulled it back in.
It's just the situation that you're in now, and do you feel comfortable trying to hold up? And a little bit of pressure that time, bringing Sean Chandler off the edge. It forces Morgan Moses to step outside and honor that, and now you've got a mismatch inside somewhere.
8th punt of this game for Tress Way. And Davis will watch it bounce and roll inside the 20-yard line of the Giants. Giants jumping with joy this holiday season. Disappointment for the Redskins. If you Google Pat Shurmur's name and the Giants, I wonder if that note will come up, because those are some pretty good offensive numbers.
How about they had not done that in the 2 previous seasons?
Eli Manning came in as Barkley almost broke another one. Manning came in, as I mentioned, needing a certain number to pass 55,000 yards in his career, and it was easy once he gave it to Barkley, and then it made them worry about him, and so he could air it out. Barkley, a career best 163 yards rushing and a 78-yard touchdown run. He gets the football, this time not a lot of running room. I want to go back to Shurmur for a moment, because he had that time in Cleveland, and he said, when we talked to him about you don't go politicking, at least in his view, for a head coaching job. You wait, if you're doing your job, you wait for him to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey. And obviously in Minnesota with that offense last year and the quarterback he worked with, something was right in the eyes of what the Giants wanted to do. And I got to tell you, those first 8 games, there was some doubters out there.
Yeah, but that's what usually happens. You know, when you get an opportunity, your team has struggled the previous season. You're coming in to try and fix things.
After the tear down, the building up as Saquon Barkley carries across the 35-yard line, and time for a game break with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. Packers were up 20-7. Opening drive of the second half. Aaron Rodgers connects with Randall Cobb. He now has 359 pass attempts without an interception. Packers up big, 27-7. Chris?
All right, thank you very much. I kind of figured that Aaron Rodgers would have a big game. I think most of us did.
Yeah.
After the news of last week. And what a disappointing performance by that entire Packer team last week at home, when their playoff hopes were on the line against the Cardinals. But winning big today at Lambeau. Barkley, a one-handed catch. Did he hold on to it? He did.
Wow.
Nearing midfield.
Gosh, is there anything this kid can't do?
Celebrate in the end zone dramatically after a touchdown.
That's the classy part too. I mean, that's well, since Odell Beckham's not here, somebody's got to fill in with some great catches, and it's Saquon Barkley. Look at the concentration all the way down through the process of that catch.
That's his 4th catch of this game. He's nearing 80 catches for the season. He came in leading all rookies, not just running backs, all rookies in catches. And carrying the load for this Giants team, as they thought he would when they drafted him. Wayne Gallman the carry. Barkley catching a breather.
And he's already got the rookie rushing record for the Giants. And I really think the next thing that's definitely within his realm of possibility is the receiving record, the rookie receiving record. Can he break Odell Beckham's record of 91? I mean, that's very doable down the stretch.
Absolutely. And his team is winning in the process, which is something that
5-3, ace.
Very humble about. And Eli Manning talked to us about how humble Barkley is coming in, even as a rookie. A star in New York, as Gallman carries. An emerging sports star from the Bronx, Saquon Barkley.
Well, you know, he's willing to go through the process of being a rookie. You know, he doesn't consider himself to be privileged in any way. You know, he's a first-year guy. He's the number 2 overall pick of the draft, but he's still a rookie. So he does things in the running back room. He's the young guy in the running back room. He's one of the young guys on the offensive side of the ball. He doesn't have an ego, and I can't tell you how important it is to have a guy like that to build your offense around.
Start. Got a 53. Hey, Rocco.
And a guy like Eli Manning to work with, who delivers the throw for a first down, and running loose is Evan Ingram down to the 12-yard line. Another big play from Ingram.
We saw this at the end of the first half, and here it is again. You get matched up against DJ Swearinger, a little stutter go, and DJ tries to undercut that and make the play. You want to stay on that hip and just make the tackle. You're going for the big play, and you don't make it, and now you've turned Evan Engram loose down the field.
Remember Eli Manning saying that, we tried at first to get everybody involved. We're throwing the ball around. That's not what we were built for at that moment. We had to play to our strengths, get the right guys the ball, as you talked about, offensive line, run the ball, and then it opens up opportunities.
Absolutely. And here's another thing, pace. They're breaking the huddle. They're at the line of scrimmage right away.
Wayne Gallman straight ahead and shoved back before he could get to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, a couple of the big things he talked about. Listen, we want to vary the pace of play. We want to move a little bit quicker. We're going to lean on Saquon Barkley. We're going to lean on that running game. We'll do some play action off that and then move the pocket a little bit. It just took them a while to find out what really worked well for them with their personnel.
With Darryl Johnston, Laura opens down on the field. We have Dean Blandino, our rules analyst, watching back in Los Angeles. I'm Chris Myers, and we welcome you to the NFL on Fox, or if you're just tuning in or flipping around the dial. The Giants from the start. Defensive first quarter. They got an interception run back for a touchdown. Barkley has taken over, and Eli Manning has a couple of touchdown tosses. Make it 3 for Eli. And Russell Shepard gets one today.
Good play design here. You look like you're going to go sweep, and then a good delay by Russell Shepard. Sometimes the timing, guys get so anxious, they get so excited because they know it's a play for a potential touchdown, and they rush it. Good patience by Russell Shepard.
All right, so something goes wrong for the hot kicker of the Giants as the extra point is off the mark. But another touchdown toss. That's 3 for Eli Manning today. 357 in his career, and it's 40-0. Back in October when they met, just 13 on the board for the Giants, but 40, and that hadn't happened since 2015 when the Giants put 40 up on the Saints. Danny Johnson on the return for Washington. And a good return up to the 29-yard line. Josh Johnson is coming in at quarterback, replacing Mark Sanchez. Johnson was signed on Tuesday after the Colt McCoy injury. 10-year veteran, age 32. This is his 12th team that he's been under contract with. He was with Jay Gruden in Cincinnati, actually some time with John Gruden back in Oakland. And originally a draft pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hey, 5-2, single.
He's going to keep it and run with it. And gets up across the 31-yard line.
So that the big question, Monday night in Philadelphia was Mark Sanchez coming into the game and not having the opportunity to get a lot of reps. So they had an emergency package that he could kind of go to worst case scenario. Unfortunately, worst case scenario happens. Now, this is by choice. So how far along is Josh Johnson in his preparation? You mentioned his time with Jay Gruden down in Tampa Bay. Does Coach Gruden feel comfortable enough that he's already got enough knowledge to understand some of the concepts and what Washington is running this season?
Yeah, the last NFL game Johnson played in 2013 with Cincinnati when Jay Gruden was there. Vernon Davis with a catch going out of bounds. And I don't think you can put all this. We've talked about dealing with injuries, but on Mark Sanchez, I mean, he had some early drops that just could have given the team a different level of confidence and competition. Not that they'd be anywhere close to this game, but it might be better off than what it is.
Couldn't have started any worse as an offense. Your quarterback is trying to make plays. Your receivers are dropping balls. Jordan Reed, Chris Thompson, Jamison Crowder. You get a deflection for a pick six, and then it just spirals out of control. So Mark Sanchez put in a tough spot, but he didn't get a whole lot of help today from his teammates around him.
And whatever speech there was with Adrian Peterson or Swearinger or whomever, I mean, this is a signal that Johnson running for a first down and sliding. Jay Gruden just is looking for a different answer somewhere, and he's starting with quarterback.
Well, at 40-0, you got to do something, right? And the one thing I will say is right there in this series right away, the mobility of Josh Johnson, maybe a little bit more than what Mark Sanchez has. You know, the sacks that the Giants were able to get.
That's their first conversion on a third down try in this game, 1 out of 9, and it took a running quarterback to do it. And that was one of the things Jay Gruden talked about, was the mobility, along with Johnson knowing the system, as Adrian Peterson carries. Time for a game break again with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. Saints trailing 14-3, looking to get that offense going. It's happening right here. Play action. Drew Brees to Zach Lyons at his 1-yard score. Alvin Kamara's 2-point conversion was good. Saints still trailing 14-11.
All right, thanks. They have not, Carissa, been the same, that Saints offense, since Dallas beat them up on Thursday night. But with a win, they clinched the NFC South as Jay Gruden bundled up and looking on. With a change in quarterback. Chris Thompson is in. Michael Floyd is in motion as your receiver in the slot. Johnson with time to throw. And out of bounds with a catch. Josh Doctson. And a first down for Washington.
It's so different than the first possession to start this game. Josh Johnson and his guys able to produce a little bit of rhythm. Janoris Jenkins comes off it. That's a nice throw by Josh Johnson.
6'3", originally from Oakland, California. So his teams: Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Jets, Colts, Bills, Baltimore, Giants, Houston, Oakland, now Washington.
Need some water?
I think I covered every team in the league. There's other leagues he played for as well. Inside the 40 is Chris Thompson. Yeah, he actually played for the Sacramento Mountain Lions of the UFL in 2012 and is still under contract with the San Diego Fleet of the AAF.
And you know, Mark says he's got his fingers crossed right now because that's his quarterback and he doesn't want him to get hurt.
But he's created a spark for Washington.
9-3.
Third quarter winding down. Inside the Giants 40. Johnson, after the fake, gets another first down and goes out of bounds. Creativity from Gruden in this offense with Johnson in there, and he's inside the 30.
And just, real savvy, to have something that takes advantage of the skill set that Josh Johnson has. So we're seeing a little bit of the zone read schemes, getting the quarterback on the outside with the football in his hand, making the defense cover the perimeter of the field.
A 9-yard run, and obviously the Giants defense are playing a little bit different here exactly. Because they have a 40-point lead.
Why did they start Josh Johnson? Look at how good they're playing.
Well, you knew that, right? Sanchez, you knew with him he was going to drop back and throw it, and here you're just not sure. Dumps it incomplete for Thompson. He's had a tough time holding on to the football today. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter.
James Betcher's, they've done a really nice job today. During the course of the day, they knew what they had to do. They had the advantage. We talked about complementary football not being executed by the Washington Redskins. The Giants, on the other hand, have done a great job. That was the matchup today. James Betcher's defense against an offense that was limping in here with a quarterback who was going to be very challenged, and they've taken care of business.
Blitz. Pass is complete. Vernon Davis to the 21, just short of the first down. Josh Moore with delayed pressure there after they came heavy on one side. He was left available, probably on purpose.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit better mobility from Josh Johnson than Mark Sanchez right now. And you're being able to get the ball out on the perimeter, out on the edge. They're moving the pocket a little bit more than they did for Mark Sanchez.
Johnson 4 out of 5 throwing the football. He's run it 3 times for 18 yards. Third down 2. An end zone throw. Knocked away. Janoris Jenkins was on the coverage with Michael Floyd.
Janoris Jenkins has been playing well, gotten healthy here the last couple of weeks. If you're going to go 50-50, I might have gone to the other side if they were mirrored routes, but good coverage.
Jenkins, a Pro Bowl corner of the past, playing at a Pro Bowl level, at least in the last couple of games, as you said, once he was a bit healthier. And on fourth down, obviously, with 3 seconds remaining in the third quarter, they're going to go for it. I was surprised here they didn't just roll out Johnson and have him run for the first. He can do it here if he can make it, and he can't. Straight up the middle, the hole closed, and the Giants got to him. And at the end of 3, a spark for the Redskins, but the Giants pointing toward victory with a 40-0 advantage here on the road. Well, when it's going right for the Giants, this is how it looks. Eli Manning, 3 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, a 78-yard touchdown run. He's still thanking people. He's got 170 rush yards. And a 40-0 fourth quarter advantage. Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers, and a new quarterback in. Kyle Lauletta will give to Wayne Gallman. And he will get tackled at the line of scrimmage. Lauletta, his first game action. He suited up for the first time last week after he was inactive prior to. Drafted in the 4th round from Richmond. That's about, what, 120 miles from here. He was a 3-year starter at Richmond.
Getting everything done now, checking all the boxes, and this has been one of the big questions the New York media has continued to ask Pat Shurmur about is when are we going to get to see him? He was promoted to number 2 a couple of weeks ago, so then all the chatter started again. So now they're talking about that man's future right there, and you know, he's very frank with you. Listen, I've got no master plan. His contract runs through next season. You know, this is a great opportunity though for Kyle Lauletta to get some snaps in game condition.
And his throw is on target. Catch made on the sideline by Russell Shepard. Nice throw on the move for Lauletta's first NFL pass and completion. Meanwhile, they called that incomplete. He was out of bounds, even though the throw was on target and overruled. Meanwhile, Eli was on target today. It really just one throw that looked off the mark with his 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, just that one at the end of the half. He kind of forced one down there. But it's been a great day, and he's feeding off of what Saquon Barkley does. And you saw those stats. It's a good combination right now.
And Shurmur was candid when he said, look, at some point you have to turn the page. But in Eli, we have a guy who can do things for us. And I don't think there's any question that he's the quarterback going into next year or the rest of this year. Looks like he wants a timeout. And he calls it, so maybe some confusion with his rookie quarterback. Kyle Lauletta now in for the Giants with a 40-0 lead and a New York timeout. In December, you want to go head-to-head with those in your division as the Giants are beating up on the Redskins. And later on Fox, America's Game of the Week, Eagles and Cowboys. Dallas leading the division. And Philadelphia coming on. Lauletta on 3rd and 10. And intercepted. Mason Foster, right place, picked it off. Redskins defense comes up big on the rookie quarterback throw. 2nd pick of the year for Foster. Mason Foster with the interception for the Redskins for Kyle Lauletta. I mean, as a catch, it's ruled a catch and then overruled incomplete on his first NFL throw, and his second winds up in the hands of a Redskin. Byron Marshall is now at running back, 2nd-year back from Oregon, is with the Eagles. Josh Johnson quarterbacking, coming in for Sanchez, and Marshall gets inside the 30. And Washington trying to avoid getting shut out as we play in the 4th quarter. Well, Alex Smith, of course, the surgery, there were complications afterwards, and his family, the Redskins, asking for some respect, privacy in that area. And Marshall splits out as a receiver. Blitz. Johnson avoids the rush and completes to Marshall. And there's a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 97, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
Josh Morrow called on the penalty 5 sacks today he's been part of those sacks, but this call going against the Giants.
You kind of saw he got his arm up around the head area, and, it's one of the things. Well, a forcible blow to the helmet, and with the hand. Touchy call.
As for Josh Johnson, though, we mentioned that Colt McCoy, when he broke his leg, he was able to walk off. Obviously, the Alex Smith injury, much more devastating, had an impact on this team, and they have not been able to win a game since. Sanchez starting, and Jay Gruden the decision to go to Josh Johnson. Let's check in with Laura.
That was such a big conversation in the building this week. Players saying they were devastated over what Alex was going through. A lot of the teammates went to visit him a week ago, but said since this turn, they're giving him space to get through it. I know that's a big reason why Adrian and other leaders were so upset with the team's lack of fire, saying Alex and Colt would kill to be fighting for a win, not fighting for careers.
Thank you very much, Laura, and the team, all of us thinking of him and his recovery. After the penalty, now 2nd down 10.
I think one of the big things we heard from Trent Williams was, at 6-6, how hard it is to get there. Maybe the season hasn't gone the way you wanted. It's been real challenging the last couple of weeks, but he's only been to the playoff twice in his 9-year career, and he knows how important that is. You never take anything for granted, and that was reinforced with the injury to Alex Smith. This game can be taken away from you in the blink of an eye, and you've got to appreciate every season, every play, every quarter, every game.
Coming back around to the Adrian Peterson speech with the team. This is the furthest this Washington offense has been in Giant territory. Getting to the 10-yard line and fighting to fall forward is Marshall, down to the 8-yard line.
And the quarterback change to Josh Johnson has gotten him a little bit of a spark, and trying to avoid that shutout streak right there. And the mobility in the pocket, I think, is helping. I think you bring up a great point. At 40-0, the defense doesn't have the sense of urgency that they had, at the beginning of the game when Mark Sanchez came on.
And if you're the Redskins, you're not only thinking about the rest of this year, but beyond this year, what they're going to do with the quarterback position, depending on the health of who's available. Josh Johnson has room to run. He's going to take it to the goal line and into the end zone for a Washington touchdown.
Now, the athleticism, the mobility by Josh Johnson is definitely given this offense a little bit of a spark. They've got to cover everything, and we've seen the Giants rush for and be able to get home, and now they've got a quarterback who has a little bit of mobility there, a little bit of that extra playmaker that you got to account for in your defensive front.
They're going to try for 2. Touchdown run from Johnson, who came in not having played in years and actively in the NFL. Does have 5 career touchdown passes. And the spark that Gruden was looking for those loyal fans here at FedEx Field.
Delay of game. Offense. The try will be attempted from the 8-yard line. 7-yard line, correction.
Well, at this point, do you want to just kick the extra point or still work on the 2-point conversion? I mean, the way Rosas lately on the other side has had some trouble with extra points, you wonder if the kicking game and Dustin Hopkins should just get some work here today.
I let Josh Johnson have some more snaps in these conditions. Yeah, who knows? Maybe you're going to make another change, and next week he's your starter.
Redskins will be playing at Jacksonville next Sunday. Johnson for the conversion. Back of the end zone was Vernon Davis. Yes, he was in. He made the catch. They'll check the feet to make sure, but count it for 2. And despite the penalty, backing him up in the back of the end zone. Vernon Davis with the grab. Josh Johnson hadn't even been in the building around here in a week, less than that. Hadn't played an NFL game in 5 years. comes in the second half, leads the Redskins to a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, replacing the benched Mark Sanchez. And the Redskins ready to kick off. Just under 12 minutes to go.
I mean, that's really impressive because we were at practice Friday. I didn't see him with any first team snaps. And, you know, how much did he even have access to the playbook and the opportunity to get ready for this? So well done on that drive.
And this will be a touchback. So still in the mathematical playoff picture are the Giants. Cowboys and Eagles later. The schedules. These are the remaining games that these teams have. And those Eagles-Cowboys will clash. America's Game of the Week coming up on Fox. Giants, after hosting the Titans, will go to Indianapolis. The Colts, by the way, are leading the Houston Texans 24-14, and then the Giants finish with the Cowboys.
That's a tough stretch for the Giants finishing out there. They've got 3 teams all tied up in playoff races, and we'll find out. We'll find out if they can get to 8-8. They get to 8-8 with that remaining schedule. That's a great close.
Hot finish. So the one backup quarterback, the veteran for the Redskins, the rookie backup, gives to Wayne Gallman as Kyle Lauletta continues. His father, by the way, a quarterback at Navy. It's fun watching that Army-Navy game yesterday. So I want to go back to Eli Manning, though, because when you think about his position, he did admit to us, you understand you're closer to the end than the beginning, but you remind yourself to enjoy every moment, the process. And he did say he still has fun. A guy like Barkley comes in who's inquisitive, has an old soul, but a young, fresh approach. He said, my enjoyment for the game has not slipped one bit. And he certainly, with this second half finish with him and Barkley, something to look forward to for Giant fans. Gallman carries.
And it's so hard when you walk away from somebody like Eli Manning at the quarterback position. I mean, look what he's accomplished during his time with the New York Giants. And we've seen the Dolphins struggle to place Marino. You know, I watched the Cowboys try to replace Troy Aikman. It's hard moving on from a guy of that caliber. And you forget about all the little things that Eli Manning has done. He always does the right thing. He always says the right thing. He's been the voice and face of your franchise for so long. You take those things for granted.
On a 3rd down and 5 for Lauletta from the 30. And pressure coming, and that pass is almost intercepted. I did want to mention Clinton Dix on that portion, that when we asked Saquon Barkley about being a star athlete in New York, he said, yeah, it's special, it's different. And he brought up Derek Jeter and Eli Manning as examples of success in their sport, in their profession, and how they handle things professionally. And I thought that was an interesting and an alert point of view from a young player in the NFL, and fortunate to learn from Eli Manning. Meanwhile, Lauletta has been unable to really move the Giant offense as Riley Dixon will punt it away. Stroman has it, and he's knocked down right away. Over the years, Sonny Jurgensen in the broadcast booth here with Larry Michael. Giants lead it 40-8. In the great history of the Giants, they're on their way to their 100th regular season win over the Redskins. So they'll be the first team in NFL history with 100 wins over one single opponent. Michael Strahan joining him on the pregame show, the NFL on Fox, as Eli Manning watches Josh Johnson and the Redskins. And Byron Marshall, the running back. And a first down catch up across the 35. There's a flag down back at the 10. Doxson hauling in that.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 79 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Ty and Secchi called for the infraction, and that's kind of embodies what the Redskin day and at least the last month of the season has been like for them.
Yeah, they've really struggled with penalties inside, especially holding penalties. That was hands to the face. We've seen a lot of false starts with the different quarterbacks the last couple of games. So that's the problem. They had to play almost a perfect game. There was very, very little margin for error. And just right from the get-go, Jay Gruden's team has just really struggled to have the efficiency that they needed to be successful today.
Hey, Lucky, 5-2.
Instead of a first down and 10 up across the 35, they're now backed up at the 13.
Delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So make it the 8-yard line and a 1st and 25.
And they had that on the 2-point play too. And sometimes, you're trying to decide whether to go for 2, you're going to kick it, so we'll give them a little bit of a hall pass there. But all right, come on now, we got to get this huddle dynamic sorted out.
And now you throw in a timeout, and dysfunction in Washington will continue here in 30 seconds. After the Redskin timeout, Josh Johnson facing a 1st and 25 inside his own 10-yard line. From his goal line, he's going to run. And showing some speed getting up across the 20-yard line. And Kurt Menefee has a game break.
Well, Drew Brees has played 18 seasons. This is the first one he's had 4 rushing touchdowns. That 1-yarder is important because it gave them the lead today, and it's their first lead since Week 12 against the Falcons. 18-14 in Tampa. Chris Moose?
All right. Thank you, Kurt. And a win puts the Saints into the playoffs. 12-yard run there by Josh Johnson. Cuts into that haul of yardage needed for a first down. Dump it off. Crowder. Jamison Crowder goes down the sideline. And Josh Johnson has a touchdown pass to go with his touchdown run. 79 yards.
Well, I don't know what Cameron Moore was doing. He's going to be right here, 29. He's going to have an opportunity to kind of make a tackle over towards the sideline, and he kind of hesitates, and that was a horrible angle, a horrible decision, and Jamison Crowder's got a long touchdown catch.
Cameron Moore, the rookie free agent from Boston College. He's from District Heights, Maryland. And a big play for Johnson and the Redskins as they line up to go for 2. That's a career long for Crowder. A 79-yard catch and carry for 6. Josh Johnson, end zone, slam dunk for 2. Michael Floyd on the receiving end of the 2-point conversion.
Oh, this is some of the things that they talked about doing with Mark Sanchez, but never really got to it. But with Josh Johnson, they've really moved the pocket. They've brought some different plays in to stress this Giants defense a little bit, and he's done a really nice job executing the plan that they have in place for him.
Thursday night football, a huge matchup of the AFC West. Phillip Rivers, the red-hot Chargers, face Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. First place on the line. Maybe a lot more the way the Ravens lead Kansas City at the moment. 7:30 Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, streaming on Prime Video. Good matchup with the Chargers and Chiefs Thursday night football. And the Patriots needing a win today. They lead Miami by 2. They'll secure a playoff spot. The Texans are trailing at the moment.
I like them. I like them going. I think they're playing their best football. We saw them a couple of weeks ago. They're a complete team. I mean, Bosa and Ingram coming off the edge, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, a big physical group of wide receivers. Then you got Phillip Rivers, controlling the show. So
and they can play anywhere, Daryl. Excuse me. I mean, they
no home field for them.
They seem to be comfortable on the road. The Chargers entertaining to watch. Josh Johnson has been entertaining, creating a spark in a lopsided game that the Giants have control of. We'll see if Kyle Lauletta could get comfortable. But if you're Pat Shurmur, it's kind of game you like. You build the lead, you give your starters a rest, and you get Lauletta some game time action. If he has an opportunity here, roll into the end zone and be a touchback. Well, there were some people, I think it's worth bringing up because I think it's the 4th straight 100-yard rushing game or more for Saquon Barkley, who was drafted 2nd overall after he had just 1 in the first 8. And there were people clamoring, some outside the Giants building, take a quarterback with that pick, even though you have a guy like Eli Manning. That pick looks pretty good now as the weeks go by later in the year.
The pick looks really good right now, and what you've got now is a quarterback that can work around that. And that's one of the things that we talk about, regardless of that quarterback, but getting that supporting cast around him, and to have a guy like Saquon Barkley, and when you throw that term around, that generational back, That's a huge statement. And here's what's happened in these two decisions. And this will be something that will go on for a long time. I mean, you can see Dave Gettleman and his group in New York by going with Saquon Barkley, what they got with that value. And this will be a process for Sam Darnold.
Yep.
He's off to a little bit of a tough start. He's been injured. He's injured again this afternoon.
Battle of foot injury now, and the Jets in a 2020 tie. And, of course, they've had some issues, and their head coaching situation could be up in the air. But Barkley, an old soul for a rookie running back, as Gallman carries. And I love that when we asked him about who, Adrian Peterson, one of those idols, but he tapped his heart and referred to Barry Sanders as the guy that means the most to him as an idolized running back you look up to and a kind of player. And also the way that he professionally, after he scored the touchdown, didn't overdo things.
Yeah, maybe more than anything. Not the fact that Barry was great with the football in his hand, and we've seen so many great runs by him through the history, watching NFL films and things like that. But the one thing that Saquon mentioned was he always handed the official the ball when he scored. It was not about him. It was always about the guys around him that helped him get there. So for a young guy, he is wise beyond his years.
And enjoying some rest after the first half and performance he had into the third quarter. Lauletta with a floater that's incomplete for Gallman. And Kurt Menefee has another game break.
And we've got another first-round rookie doing well. Lamar Jackson, quarterback at Baltimore right now, and that's his second touchdown pass of the game. 9-yarder to John Brown, and they've got a touchdown lead approaching the 2-minute warning, trying to pull the upset over the Chiefs. Chris?
Yeah, Kurt, that's incredible. The Ravens, and there's the fifth quarter, right? The drafted quarterbacks in that opening round, from Mayfield to Darnold, and he was the last to get a starting gig with the injury to Flacco, and what he's done for the Ravens and their offense has been incredible. And the punt rolling out of bounds. Been talking about it all day. NFL coverage with America's Game of the Week. First place in the NFC East, Carson Wentz, defending Super Bowl champ Eagles, getting up off the mat to go up against Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys. Coming up next, right here on Fox. Plenty of NFL throughout the afternoon, also on the Fox Sports app.
It all started there 4 games ago, going up to Philadelphia at 3-5, left for dead by a lot of people, but what a run the Cowboys have been on. That offensive line really adjusting to having Mark Colombo being promoted to the offensive line coach. The change with Paul Alexander and the addition of Amari Cooper really settled that wide receiver group down. Everybody kind of knows their role now.
Josh Johnson, a couple of scoring drives after replacing Sanchez. That's Marshall there. Well, how about it would have looked different a couple of weeks ago when the Giants were at Philadelphia and had a lead and lost that game, that 25-22 game. I mean, that's something Pat Shurmur kind of referenced. He thought maybe there could have been an opportunity to kick a late field goal in that game. Second half, I know fans wanted Saquon Barkley to get the ball more in that game. He got it plenty in the first half here to set the tone, as Johnson will get the first down going out of bounds.
But I think the big thing that Coach Shurmur also mentioned was the ability for that team to learn a lesson so quickly. And really him as well. That Chicago game, Saquon Barkley did get the ball more in the second half and into overtime. And they were able to come back and win that game. I mean, an 8-3 team, a 10-point lead, you lose that in the last minute and 13 seconds. You go to overtime, and the resiliency of the Giants, the toughness to be able to find a way to win that after a heartbreaking loss the week before to the Eagles, those are huge strides for a young team.
Vernon Davis showing some extra effort to the 45, and if they give him the push forward, that'll be good enough for a Redskin first down. Under 6 minutes to play here. Well, the Giants will go to 5-8. Redskins will slip to 6-7 and 4 straight losses. And the blitz coming. Johnson gets rid of it. Laura?
I'm continuing what you guys are talking about. Daryl, what you're saying with Pat Shurmur and the lessons. If you want to make him win, bring up next year. He does not use that and doesn't want it being used in the building by the players. He does not like hearing other coaches say it because he says, I don't believe in next year. The lessons are right now. This year is connected to next year. I'm not thinking about it, what it's going to do then. I'm thinking about it right now because it will continue to touch.
Laura, there's a penalty here. They're going to call, I think, grounding. I thought there was a running back in the area when Johnson dumped the ball.
Ineligible player downfield.
Okay.
Number 73, offense.
So it's not grounding.
5-yard penalty. remains first down. There's no foul for intentional grounding. Receiver number 34 was in the area.
Yeah, so it was really a downfield to center. Gruden working that play sheet with Josh Johnson. So it really does matter, some familiarity with a guy and an offense, even though you're years apart with Josh Johnson and Jay Gruden.
Yeah, the recall to the concepts he learned while he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Probably a little bit of change, but not too much.
Easy.
Giants threaten blitz. Redskins flinch, and there's a flag. And a little NFC East chatter here. Happy holidays. Carl Jeffers in the middle of that. You get a sense of just how big those guys are. You forget, well, they're all big and tall out there, and you see kind of the average guy.
False start. Number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So really having a tough time of it, back-to-back plays.
Well, you just got kind of used to Mark Sanchez and his rhythm, his voice, his cadence, and now it's Josh Johnson, and you've got to get used to his voice, his rhythm, his cadence coming in. So it's a tough spot to be in for the Redskins.
180. What's up?
Incomplete for Harris. It was a high throw, almost another opportunity for a Giants takeaway. Well, you start with a guy, 2 quarterbacks you have that weren't even in your plans a month ago. That's what they've been able to do against this Giants defense. Against Sanchez, early interception return for a touchdown by Curtis Riley, and then Ogletree added another takeaway.
And you go to your 4th new starting quarterback next week. This will be a topic of conversation here in the Washington area with the way that Josh Johnson has performed with his opportunity.
Sonny Jurgensen is in the building. I think Doug Williams is around. Joe Theismann is always around and always talking. Johnson with plenty of time, wide open. Inside the 45 is Josh Doctson spinning around, and inside the 35. And the Redskins hustling downfield.
This is well done, well executed. Drop back in the pocket, the timing, the location. He allows Josh Doctson to run after the catch.
Pick up a 30 yards. He already has a touchdown pass in this game, his first in 7 years. I don't get to play much. A delay blitz and a first down catch. Doctson again to the 3 to the 2. It'll be first and goal, Washington.
Finding a little bit of chemistry with Josh Doctson. And this is going to be a good teaching moment for Pat Shurmur with his guys on defense about finishing, and not just finishing in a tight game. When you've got an opportunity to win, we talked about Philly, we talked about the way they improved in Chicago, but finishing a game like this may be even a bigger lesson. You know, you had the door closed on these guys, a great score, and you're letting Washington go up and down the field here the last few possessions.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 18, offense. 15-yard penalty, first down. That is his first foul of this nature with regard to disqualification.
After the 31-yard gain, take away 15. It's still going to be first and goal. What they catch him doing here? A little shove to the face by Rulli. They tried to get him out of there before he got into defense. Don't like it. And that's intercepted. Third of the day for the Giants defense. Michael Thomas brings it out and gets up across the 20-yard line. So the two safeties, Riley and Thomas, have interceptions today with Landon Collins on injured reserve. They have held up well back there.
Yeah, I mean, but here's a great lesson for Josh Doctson. You know, it's an emotional game, but you've got to be able to keep control of your emotions during the course of the game. And that taunting penalty, the shove of the face mask, pushes the ball back, leads to this interception by the Giants and Michael Thomas. So You got to be smart, and that's kind of a microcosm of how the day has gone for the Washington Redskins.
Giant defense with 5 sacks of Redskin quarterbacks and 3 interceptions. And Josh Johnson, after a couple of scoring drives, this one ends in a turnover. 24-yard line. See what the 6'3", 220-pound Kyle Aletta can do. Eli Penny is in and gets the carry. Well, the Saints have moved out in front of the Bucs 25-14. Bonus coverage from Tampa Bay coming up here on Fox, and then America's Game of the Week with the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Bucs came in with 5 wins and still alive in the playoff picture, but a Saints win nails down New Orleans' playoff spot.
That Buccaneers is a dangerous team down the stretch. You need to get ready to play them. They can score points with everybody, with anybody. The defense is a little bit of a concern.
Eli Penny for a first down.
This will be a good way for this Giant offensive line to finish too, because now you're into that classic 4-minute offense right now. You've got the big lead. All right, they know we want to run the football. We want to take the clock down to zeros. Let's see how we can run the ball when the Redskin defense knows that's what we want to do. Let's see if this group of 5 that everybody is real happy with right now can now function really well in a situation where the one thing you're trying to do, the other team is going to try and stop you.
An offensive surge for the Giants in the last month or so has continued today, putting 40 up against Washington. Penny into a crowd as the clock continues to run. Under 3 minutes to play. Mention Eagles, Cowboys. What's the biggest difference? I guess we saw that Dallas defense, the turnaround, what they did with New Orleans, but people were writing them off after they lost to the Tennessee Titans earlier in the year.
I've never seen the city of Dallas lower than it was that Tuesday morning after that loss to the Titans, and just impressive to see them go beat Philadelphia and Philly. And then Atlanta, they beat Atlanta in Atlanta. They got embarrassed in Atlanta last year. I thought that was a huge win.
Well, Letta's throw is incomplete. He was under pressure. And it'll be 3rd down and 8.
And then they had the Redskins on Thanksgiving, did a nice job there. But yeah, the defensive performance against the Saints shows what they can do.
And some defensive pressure on Kyle Aletta. He is 0 for 5 now. It's interesting because when Pat Shurmur said at some point you got to turn the page, realistically about Eli, although likely to go in as your starter for next season after the wrap-up of what happens this year, considering health-wise. But he didn't necessarily point to a rookie or drafted quarterback. It's kind of subtle in terms of the future at that quarterback position for the Giants. As Penny carries.
But they're getting a chance to see him. They miss an opportunity with Davis Webb. They never really found out there. So at least down the stretch, I think Pat Shurmur really wants to, when you get a situation like this, take advantage of it.
Yep. Davis Webb, the Jets taking a look in that direction. So we have a timeout, Washington, with 1 remaining. Jay Gruden wants another look with Josh Johnson. We're going to check in with Laura.
I'm going to continue that with what you were talking about, what Pat Shurmur's looking for, because he's not reacting. He is looking forward. And when we talked about Eli, he said, here's the thing with that 1-2 record, that was a reflection of the whole team's play, not just the quarterback. We needed to solidify up front to help Eli function better, because right now is when we get the fair assessment of where he is as a player. It wasn't that first half.
No, nobody can function behind the offensive lines that were playing there in that first half of the season. That was difficult for anybody to do. So that's a great point by Coach Shurmur. And you are going to see the truer sense of what this offense can be down the stretch here in the second half of the season.
On a 4th and 3. Looks like there's a flag down before they could get the snap off to punt. Riley Dixon was waiting.
Defense, 12 men. 5-yard penalty, resulting in a first down.
Yeah, that's why he waited. And the penalty to give Lauletta and the offense a chance.
Wow.
Giants have one, the Redskins have one timeout remaining, so the Giants can run the clock down further.
I mean, 12 guys on the field, offensively or defensively. We've got personnel groups shifting in and out, and you've got injuries and things like that that can happen. But special teams, I mean, it's the punt team. That's 11 guys that are, that's their job. That's all they do is they go out and they set up the punt return team. So that some of these self-inflicted wounds by the Redskins today have just been inexcusable.
That's why the coaching staff is left scratching their heads.
Set! Zebra!
Waiting team! What's that? Eli Penny, second year back from Idaho as a free agent following Barkley and Gallman in the running back rotation. A tough start for Sanchez. Eli smiling because the Giants have dominated throughout. James Betcher, first-year Giants defensive coordinator, has meshed well with head coach Shermer in this unit.
Yeah, he really has. He came in. You got to take a look at your core guys, and then you built around that. You saw the afternoon they had. We've talked a lot about this Giants offense, but James Betcher's group's had a nice afternoon also.
Wayne Gallman back in and carries. Talked about the 3 takeaways. Yeah, they picked out some quarterbacks that weren't familiar with the team they were playing for.
But you remember at the beginning of the game, we talked about the offense is just kind of sitting there not doing anything. It was actually the Giants defense that kind of jump-started this blowout for them. And they've been able to get pressure with just 4 guys, been able to drop guys in coverage. And they were the team that had the best matchup today. And James Betcher's group stood up and played really well. And he's got an offensive snap coming. Alec Ogletree got his 5th interception. Coach Shermer owes him an offensive play.
400 yards of offense for the Giants today. On a 3rd and 4. Gallman looks like he fell right at the line. And bonus coverage, we're going to take you to the closest game that we were talking Saints-Bucks, but the Saints in control. So Carolina trails by 6 at Cleveland. Looks like that's the game. But stay tuned. You'll get whatever the best game is we can get you to. And our crew here, we always appreciate Win Bernfeld on camera, Steve Malone on tape, our Bruno Kirby of our crew, Kevin Mallory, broadcast associate, our tech producer, Sid Drexler, Ty Yoey. Always thankful to have him on the Fox Box operator. And we have our producer Fran Morrison and director Brian Lilly.
18! What is that?
And Robin Mallow, Connecticut's own, part of our crew. We thank them for all the hard work, keep the truck moving. And the game's coming. What a performance from Saquon Barkley, Eli Manning, and the Giant defense. As we mentioned, the 100th regular season win against the Redskins, first team in NFL history to do that. Pat Shermer and the Giants able to do it. For Laura Oakman, Daryl Johnston, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for being a part of the NFL on Fox. And stick around for the State Farm postgame show and then into America's Game of the Week.